Support for the Bulletproof for BJJ YouTube channel is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with their exclusive offer for you. Get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code GRIZZLY at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls.
That's a lot of balls.
Now, talk to me about your experience with Manscaped.
I used this yesterday and I just did my arm in like barely any minutes. And it's so quick. It was actually very impressive. And so we have a comparison. Note this arm looking quite smooth and lean.
Vascular.
And then look at this arm. Hairy bear.
Grizzly.
Grizzly ass.
Neanderthal-esque. Here's my story with Manscaped. My partner bought me an older model a couple of years ago, and I've been using it ever since. I think I've charged it once in that time because the battery just doesn't die.
Oh, wow.
And it's very similar to this, though. This is obviously like upgraded.
This is the 4.0.
The 4th generation of trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, all right? Thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. You thought that was good, but you want to take a grooming game even further to the next level. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer.
The thing that I also am impressed with this pack is the care range. Like,
Right.
we've got the ball toner,
We've got the ball deodorant,
the crop reviver.
crop preserver.
Mate, it actually smells amazing. I don't mess with colognes, but like,
Smells fresh.
so man, I'll just start. I'm just putting this on.
JT's face is going to smell like Joey's balls.
Well, the roles are reversed because usually that's how it goes in jiu-jitsu.
Hey, I fight well from north-south. Fam, get 20% off and free shipping when you use the code GRIZZLY, which you can see here on the screen, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code GRIZZLY, unlock your confidence, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Hi guys, I'm JT.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Joey.
And today we are discussing why pre-workout is bad for BJJ. Oof.
What do we mean by pre-workout?
We're talking
Is
about...
that like masturbating before training?
I mean, man, if you're Shane Warne... no. Too soon.
Oh, bro. What, he's known for that?
No, well, anyway, I don't want to speak badly of Shane Warne, but
Well-
he's a sex addict, yes.
Okay.
100%. But I mean, he was living his best life. We're going to move forward. So guys, we're talking about those crystals in a plastic container. It usually has a skull on it and it says death mixture fuel or something like that. Ultra extreme, die today, but pump tomorrow, some blah, blah, blah. And essentially it's going to contain a bunch of elements, usually a lot of caffeine, some L-arginine for, muscle pump, and a bunch of other stuff.
A lot of amino acids, isn't there? Like particular ones?
Bit of amino, depends on the type.
Right.
C4 is one of the more famous, and it's got
Jack 3D from back in the day.
Good old Jack 3D. There's a bunch that are levels. I actually did a pre-workout review, which was like semi-sponsored. I don't know, whatever, 6-7 years ago, and it now has like thousands of views on it. So many people commenting, "Nah, bro, what you're talking about is nothing. I take this volcano death," and I was like, man, whatever. Like I reviewed the 6 most popular pre-workouts.
Right.
I like caffeine.
Where, on YouTube or something?
Yeah, just on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But it's all to the side. What I want to say is this: there's a lot of people out there taking pre-workout before jiu-jitsu, and it's not good for you.
Yeah, you got to stop. I guess to give context, it comes from the bodybuilding realm, doesn't it?
It does.
It's you go to these supplement shops. They got all this shit that's designed to sell to you, to help you get bigger and stronger and train harder. And yeah, it's big in the bodybuilding realm because it jacks up your energy, gets you all fucking excited.
Yep.
And in some styles of training, some circumstances, that might be a beneficial effect. However, if we're going to go into the how it works, aren't we? But if you're relying on that shit to be able to turn on the energy,
Yeah.
I believe you're masking a problem.
Definitely. And then also, like, as somebody who does consume a lot of caffeine, as much as I would hate to admit this, in truth, if I'm doing like quite a long session, like say you're doing a double class, like you do at Alliance, we'll do the kind of fundamental class 5:30, and then the advanced class 6:30 till 8. If I know I'm doing 2.5 hours of training, I won't really caffeinate before that, really, because one of the biggest problems with caffeine and stimulants in general is dehydration. And we're, both Joe and I are always talking about hydration, have your water bottle, all these things. The biggest problem with caffeine itself, and most pre-workouts are a huge amount of caffeine. Like if we say 1 scoop of C4, which I know for sure, is like 350 milligrams of caffeine. Like
how's that relevant to like a double shot coffee?
If we say, at a very rough estimation, my friends, 1 shot of espresso is anywhere between 60 and 80 milligrams of caffeine.
Right.
Right.
So if you're pumping a double, maybe you're at like 130, 140.
Yeah, maybe 160.
So it's more than double that.
It's a double. It's a quadruple.
Yeah.
And that's
that grown man level coffee right there.
Mate.
That's like I got 5 kids to feed, 2 jobs, train jiu-jitsu 5 nights a week, lifting weights before the sun comes up, Jocko.
Also Italian.
Discipline equals freedom. And this is what I take to make it happen.
Yeah, like I don't think it's particularly healthy. Now, there's so many people out there like, oh, but this famous jiu-jitsu person does this, which is the worst reason to do anything. Because let's just break this down on a chemical level. Like what caffeine does, other than blocking you feeling tired, it doesn't actually give you energy. This is the misconception. It gets in and it blocks the tiredness feeling. It adheres to the receptors in your brain that help you feel tired, and it says, no, you're not going to feel tired right now, which builds up this kind of sleep, this sleep pressure, and as soon as it wears away, it just crashes on you, and you're going to feel wrecked. But what it also does is it blocks antidiuretic hormone, and alcohol does the same thing. You know how if you might be having a couple of drinks, you're like, man, I got to go to the toilet a lot. It's because literally your body is just shedding water, and caffeine has a similar effect. Right. Now, some people rely on caffeine as a diuretic effect because maybe their diet isn't good, they haven't got enough fiber, and they need some bit more water in their gut to push things out, right?
Yeah.
And so
part of that morning ritual.
Yeah, just getting the old downstairs moving. But relevant to jiu-jitsu, when we're looking at pre-workouts, which are huge amounts of caffeine, you are dehydrating yourself. Even though you think, oh, my energy's up, if you are taking these pre-workouts, and it's usually not in much concentration of water, you might have a scoop in however many mils of water, that is not enough. You are going to be sweating. You're going to be peaking before you're even warmed up. There's so many memes about...
And you don't want to mistime that peak.
Oh,
that's fucked.
No, that's terrible. There's so many memes about taking...
It's like the warm-up and you're like gnashing your teeth and fucking like slapping your chest and shit. People are like, man, we're just doing star jumps. Like,
just hip escapes, bro.
Yeah.
And then the next thing on this, and there's been plenty of examples of this, is really one of the things that can happen at comp when you get too much adrenaline. So we'll put the pre-workout aside for a second. You have that really hard roll at comp. The first roll, adrenaline's pumping, everyone's watching. The first place to really fuck out is your grips. Forearms get really jacked and pumped. You're like, oh my God, I can barely grip. Win or lose, you're like, I don't know if I can do another round, right? And this is very common. Even experienced people feel this. You got to get that first round out the way and try and get everything back to level. If you go too high, if you go over peak arousal and you just blow a gasket, you're no good for the rest of the session. If you take huge amounts of caffeine, and also if you combine that with L-arginine and a bunch of nitric oxide, which is meant to increase vasodilation, so it just makes you pump.
Yeah.
Like it's designed for bodybuilders. It's not designed for jiu-jitsu people. Literally, this product is going to make you feel really pumped.
It's going to blow your forearms out
quicker.
quicker.
Like quicker.
Yeah.
That's not what you want. Like, why would you do that to yourself?
Hey, great point.
Mate, so that's one of my major beefs with the whole pre-workout before training. Now, you said that you have a story around this.
I took some pre-workout once. I never liked the idea of it. Here's my views on it. Like I said before, if you require, like if you're reliant on an external thing, be it a training accessory or somebody else or a supplement that you have to have in order to be able to apply yourself in training, that's not ideal.
Crutch.
It's a crutch. And usually you're masking the fact that you're low energy, and that is because you don't get enough sleep or you're overtraining or whatever it is. So I've always been of the view that you shouldn't really need those things. If you want to fuck with them every now and again, sure. I use caffeine, but that said, I don't use caffeine. I train jiu-jitsu at night, and I don't caffeinate really after lunchtime. So it doesn't play into that. And what I've always found personally is that if I am hyper caffeinated. Sometimes I used to train mid-morning and I remember I'd caffeinate hard before I'd go. It would kind of mask my ability to focus.
Right.
Because I could roll really hard, but I wasn't actually like cognitively showing up to the session.
Right.
And I was extremely tired and I was just masking that.
Right.
But I remember training in Brazil, first gym, one of the first gyms I went to, friend of a friend hooked me up, said, oh, my buddy trains jiu-jitsu, you can go with him. He was pretty new to it. He was a white belt, but he was a big, strong, athletic guy. He said, yeah, come, we'll take you to the class we go to. And him and his mates, they'd go train jiu-jitsu and then they'd go do weights afterwards.
Right.
And I was a blue belt.
What a combo.
What a combo, yeah.
Dang.
And the academy was inside a gymnasium, so it was like, you know, you can do it all there. And we went to this jiu-jitsu class and they all pumped pre-workout before the class.
Oofed.
And I remember like these guys just tried to put it on me in the class.
Yeah.
The first round it was about 3 of them, like the guy that I'd met, been introduced to, and then his 2 mates. They just came at me like fucking bulls out of the gates.
Yeah.
And I weathered the storm.
Yes.
And then I remember it came time to roll again. It was a very small class, and I was like, hey, his name was Gus or Gus. I was like, hey Gus, let's go again. And we'd done 3 rounds, or I'd done 3 rounds. I don't know what he'd done. And he was already off to the side, and he was like, and I'm like, bro, what's up? He's like, oh man, like my heart, like I'm not feeling good, man. I need to just calm down. I think I had a big weekend. And I was like, oh, it's that fucking supplement that they're taking. Like they're having like heart palpitations or some shit.
Yeah.
And so whatever, like I continued rolling, you know, and you know, so what I realized was these guys were jacking up their adrenaline, taking this shit. It allowed them to put a lot of pressure on for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Sure.
But then they just crumbled.
Yes.
In a mess of anxiety and fucking, you know, lack of capacity.
Yes.
So it's just another one of those things that kind of reinforced my view where I'm like, man, you don't want to be pumping that shit. Not before jits.
No.
Like maybe if you're showing up, I don't know, maybe there is a time, maybe you're doing some ADCC comp class and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
coach's like, hey, just get after it.
Yeah, partly, but this is what I'd say. In your hard roll, like we've probably all experienced this where, you know, whatever you're training and then there's that one person or that one roll and it just goes war. It just, that person either you don't get on or they kick you in the face or they kick you in the groin. You're like, man. And you get maybe a little bit emotional a little bit, but it really turns it on. And it's a war. You're both going pretty much 100%. You don't need any more adrenaline than you're going to generate already.
True, you got enough.
Yeah, and so in terms of like really good performance, my problem is I tend to err on the side of going too far. So it's important for me to back it off a little bit. If I'm going to sustain good rolls and it's like I'm going to have like 5 or 8 really hard rolls, I'm really working hard between rounds to bring myself back down. If I go too much out like first 2 or 3 rounds, I'm going to just be terrible for the rest. So here's the thing, guys. If you understand yourself and you, like Joe's saying, maybe you are a bit low energy, maybe you are tired, there's something else that you could fix, which can't be fixed by a powder or a pill. You know, like that's...
Yeah.
That's,
you can mask it short term,
but long term,
you won't fix the problem.
You know, you don't want to be a meow brother just scooping pre-workout straight into your mouth and chugging the water.
But I mean, those guys, supreme athletes. Like, surely everyone that's listening aspires to represent that in life.
Oh, God.
Disfigured from the game.
Just
I mean,
limping
fucking
around.
savages, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
They have achieved a lot in the last 10 years, but now they are quite broken.
What are they, like 20?
Yeah. The oldest looking 20-year-old you ever see. No,
It's
you know,
going to be
I
a fucking long rest of the life.
I think they're in their late 20s and they've really sacrificed a lot. But I think the biggest misconception around pre-workout is, it works for elite level lifters. That is very different energy system to what we use for BJJ.
Yeah.
And being able to control your adrenaline and all that is actually quite important. So even though I am someone who does love caffeine and drink a lot of coffee, I'll be 100% honest with you. I have stuffed myself up trying to over caffeinate and compensate for being tired as well. And just it being a hard session. Coming in hydrated, well fueled and being calmer results in a much better session overall. So trying to adopt this product, which is just a product, guys, it's just trying to make money, from bodybuilding to jiu-jitsu is a mistake.
Great call. Well, fuck, there was something I wanted to add to that. I can't remember what it is. It's not important right now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Appreciate you all.
Fam, thank you for listening. Guys, if you need help with your training, go to bulletproofforbjj.com. You can take our free trial, start training your strength and mobility, build athleticism for BJJ, and reduce the injuries. Use the code BJJ podcast and you get 20% off.
Nice.
Cheers, fam.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, JT.
Thank you.